And what kind of movements are we going to see from 5-minute break? They have Vanalis, and that usually does mean that they like to invade, but they will be spotted by Judgy Rocks, who makes his way towards mid, eventually, like, just almost immediately out of base. Spots all of them moving in. And that does dissuade FMB from trying out this invade. Although they may be still looking to make something happen. Even if they go through that bot lane brush, sorry, the bush in the river next to bot lane, they will be spotted.
Minions have spawned.
So 777 just putting down some countermeasures. They can afford to put down a ward, one of these wards.
I thought you were a drama queen.
Both bot lanes actually leashing. So neither of these bot lanes opting to just try and create an advantage from the outset. I figured 777 would try to secure that push nice and early so they don't have to worry about the Kayn coming in. They can push in the first 2 waves and then just be done with it. Yeah, we'll see what Sazon's pathing here is, because that will affect how this bot lane goes, most likely. It's his decision that's going to be the most important. With 777, they have to fight hard for this push. They have to make sure that they get level 2 first, because otherwise it's going to be ugly. They both hit level 2 at about the same time. The lane's still more or less staying in the middle. Chasm doesn't really see an opportunity bot lane just yet. Instead, he's focusing on mid. And Eris is pushed up in this mid lane. He's going to get caught in that stun. Flash is late, but here comes Judgy Rocks with a counter gank. It will just result in both teams standing down. No more action. But it is going to force Eris to teleport back to lane so that he doesn't lose any more experience or gold. Actually, scratch that. He's just going to save that TP, but I'm not sure that is the right decision. You're already in a spot where you're losing a lot. And you're not making that call to teleport back. I mean, 777, they would like this Galio to be able to move, but when he's going to be down in XP like this, he's already 2 levels down, he's going to be pushed up once again. That is going to be a problem for 777 moving forward. Maybe it will even mean that they lose this first dragon in the minutes to come. I mean, for now, it's 777 still pushing. But no real health lead that they managed to generate here. And both junglers actually meeting in the top lane. And it's still Judgy Rocks with a red buff that forces the Kayn away. Now it's Fool in a precarious situation. His wave is in a bad spot, as you can see on the map. He's still wary of Judgy Rocks potentially reappearing. He wants to push the lane. Now Rack is going to force a trade here. Meanwhile, there was a gank from Judgy Rocks coming mid, and that is just going to be a flash. Burnt instantly by Christian Simeone. He does not want to lose health there. Eris instantly moving into the jungle after getting the push. It's what you want to see from your Galio. Constant activity. Threatening to move to either side. Making the other team feel uneasy. Having to question their moves at every turn. Looks like Sam could be making another visit towards mid lane, and it's a flashless Galio. He uses the taunt, and he might just be able to get away. Once again, no kill on the scoreboard. But now, it most likely, it should force the TP from Eris this time around. Yeah, otherwise he would be losing a lot of these minions. Christian Simeone already has level 6, so his push is a lot stronger than usual. And this teleport, with this teleport he makes sure he will have the tempo. Although, if you look at the map right now, there's not a lot that can be done. Rack is just going to take his recall. He's safely, but surely, building up a lead. That's all he needs to do. No solo kills necessary if you're going to just opt towards a build that gives him sustain in the side lane. That Ravenous Hydra is going to make a difference. Having a small pause here, looks like Discord related issues. But it only lasted a second. But as we're looking at this situation, Jujurox is in a bit of a pickle, potentially. Trying to scout what's going on in the river, but right now he may be in a 2v1 if Sazm decides to move away from the grubs, finish the clear. This is going to be Jujurox moving in for the kill instead, and Eris with his CC chain is going to make sure that kill comes in. So Galio had Jax's back. Sorry. Wait, Galio had? Jax had Galio's assistance this whole time. Galio had Jax's back. There we go. It's kind of doubtful about this whole situation, but yeah, 777, they were confident in their ability to turn this 2v2 around, and they did. Now the dragon still remains not taken by either side. We'll have to see what happens with that later. In 777, taking away these grubs, getting that kill, that is a big deal. If they can get 5 or 6 grubs in this game, that is going to be... that's going to make a big difference for the Trundle. They want to activate him in that side lane. And this is just the first step towards doing so. Now maybe FMB can find a window to take the dragon, now that 777 is recalling. FMB have mid priority right now. Is that enough to move towards the Drake? Looks like it isn't. FMB don't feel like they're, you know, under a lot of pressure time-wise. I mean, moving forward, I don't expect much things happening around mid unless junglers are involved. Galio has already reached a point where he can ignore a lot of bad damage coming in. I mean, Christian Simeone is still getting that push from being able to move around the map, getting some information. That is pretty important for FMB still. Looks like we're going to get a first gank top lane here, as Rack in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have flash, he's running Ghost, so that means the CC chain from FMB is that much more effective. Fool is going to flash and secure that kill for himself. Meanwhile, Eris blocked off by the wall. That will force the flash. And just like that, FMB finally making moves in the early game. Making stuff happen. Felt like a little bit of hibernation from FMB, you know. The usual pressure that we see going towards bot lane, that wasn't really there. Kind of surprised at what we were seeing. I mean, FMB not really forcing anything towards the bot lane. This 7-7-7 duo just allowed to go even, which I think does benefit red team in this case. They should be the ones playing under a lot of risk, but yeah, as I say that, FMB finally pull the trigger, but now Judgy is here for the counter gank. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade in kills most likely, and it's going to be Kog'Maw taking that one. So if you think about it, it should be a positive trade for 7-7-7, and even more so because Jax takes kill number 2. And once again, 7-7-7. Judgy is on a roll on this Jax. Once again, he makes a proactive move and he helps bot lane when they needed it most. They figure out the timing from FMB perfectly, and that is a big haul for them. This first dragon is still available. I was expecting 7-7-7 to take that early recall and maybe just look towards that instead. There's going to be no dragons taken just yet, and 7-7-7, instead, they're just going to play towards Grubs. Aura is already there. Trying to figure out who exactly is hiding in those brushes. Looks like it's just going to be a 1v1 in the bot lane, while the supports are just hanging around top lane, topside river, fighting for this next neutral objective. 7-7-7, they're just going to start this. Fool's Call of the Forge God is back up. And how this fight is going to turn out. Hero's entrance from Legalio. A lot of damage towards 7-7-7's frontline though, and it's Sam who takes the first kill. 7-7-7's frontline taking a lot of punishment, but now the disintegration ray from Aura with the help of the Jax. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far. Anivia dangerously low, getting hit on by Jax. He presses Counter-Strike, he just absolutely does not care. Judgy rocks onto the backline, getting so much work done. Already 5 kills up, but 7-7-7 with very low health bars. They committed so much to this objective. But FMB do not get the shutdown. Judgy rocks must have been on like double-digit HP there, but he does not die. He keeps the bounty. I suppose what is most important for FMB is that they deny the 5 Void Grubs or 6 Void Grub threat that could come out. I think they are slightly more behind in gold as a result. But maybe going into the rest of this game, it will be worth it if they can manage to stabilize. I mean, for now, it's still Rack just completely unfazed, still pushing away at these turrets. Rack now with red form completed. He's going to walk towards Rack and try to kill him here, but his ghost movement speed is just too much. Without Call of Forge God, they are simply not fast enough to catch up. And now 7-7-7, they have already transitioned their bot lane towards mid. But that means Kog'Maw is very, very fragile. Every time he wants to walk up to the mid lane wave, gonna be met with that Nautilus hook. You know, he's already had to burn Flash. Now FMB posturing very aggressively towards this dragon. Is this the kind of fight that 777 want to take? They have Rack split pushing here on the other side of the map. I think they are just fine trading that objective for some extra pressure in the top lane. In FMB, they have to recognize that they can't waste much time here. They don't want to lose any more turrets. And that's going to be that for now. I mean, 777, this is just textbook play from them. Whew, Ara was playing with death on that one. I don't know if, you know, this dude wanted to trade 150 damage on one of the champions on the enemy team for his entire health bar. It almost felt like... Yeah, as I was saying, this is 777 just playing towards the kind of win condition that they like the most. Rack on a side lane threat, forcing the enemy team to make a decision when the objective is coming up. They have the waves pushed in at the exact right time, and that will force FMB to react faster. What is happening? Potentially making errors. Giving 777 more opportunities to even win fights on the other side of the map if it comes to that. Wow. The Rift Herald comes out and Judgy Rocks just takes the kill. Curves the Rift Herald with that charge. And man, 777, they just play without any fear going into this series. While all of that is happening, like, FMB have two people mid still protecting. Eris is in the other side lane taking that tier 1 turret. So it's once again 777 taking one objective after the next. Sazm not having the greatest of games right now. He's still trying to get towards that spike where he can make a difference. Right now, he just has that Eclipse. That is not enough. Even if he wanted to dive the backline, it's just... I feel like it's just not enough damage that FMB have in the tank. But now, 777, they might just get punished for trying to push waves in mid, but the important cooldowns just don't land. Now, Galio tanking all this damage, providing the CC for the 777 re-engage, and it's so good from their entire team. Eris catching 4 people with that taunt, and 777 decisively win the team fight. What a display from them. Rack also making the rotation from top to mid. They continue this push, but how much they can get done with the Anivia wave clear. Looks like they will just have to back off here, but wow, what a response. In a situation where FMB looked like they would have the team fight that they were looking for, they just kind of fumble. The Call of the Forge God does not even hit the Cogmop. Sazm, with his abilities, doesn't hit either. They keep going. But without those abilities hitting, 777 was just able to just take over in this fight. With this kind of composition, they want 777. Sorry, they want FMB to be the ones coming in. That is where champions like Galio and the Vel'Koz can create so many problems for the opposing team. And with so many damage threats on his team, Eris doesn't even have to go for many damage items, although he's still feeling the hurt from the Kayn, and he's going to fall in the side lane. FMB, finally they have something going for them. It looks like they just accepted that they will not be able to fight for this dragon, and instead, they will just try and take some towers for themselves, although I question just how fast Orin is able to take the tower. I don't know if he's running... Oh, yep. He's not running Demolish because of the matchup. I mean, Fool was convinced that he would not get many opportunities to proc that Demolish, and I think that's there. And Sazam trying to attack mid lane once again, where Kog'Maw is just pushing waves over and over, but he's just getting pushed away. I mean, Fool finally got enough time to take that top lane turret down. But, yeah, 777, not really concerned with that right now. They just continue to play their own game. And as so many members of FMB are preoccupied with a Trundle, it's 777 who start the Baron, and FMB just don't have the vision on it. This is just a straight up 20-minute Baron takedown. It feels like FMB have now finally realized what is happening, but it's all too late. This is just a Baron from FMB taken while 5-minute break was not looking. Once again, Rack being the pressure sponge. And this is what allowed 777 to once again take another big objective on the map. Now everyone has Baron buffs on, so it's going to be even harder for FMB to withstand this pressure that 777 is creating. Looks like Anivia will be trying to handle the Trundle bot and just trying to clear the minions, but there are still other champions we have to worry about. And it takes that much longer for Anivia to actually do something bot and clear that whole wave. Oh, Cargilly, there's a nice hook onto the Kog'Maw. Does FMB have enough to try and follow up on this? 777 standing strong. We don't seem to care. I mean, Kog'Maw had to use his summoners. Finally, he's going to get caught, however. And FMB, finally, this could be a team fight that maybe turns the game around for them a little bit. Vicious Simeone quickly utilizing that teleport. He wants to make sure that Rack cannot take any more turrets. While that fight happened mid lane, FMB, they managed to neutralize one of the threats. They more or less have stopped this Baron push from inflicting any more damage. But they're definitely not out of the woods here. And what does 5-minute break wants to do about this Trundle moving forward? Is this really going to be just Anivia matching the Trundle from now on? He does have the wave clear, but when it's Anivia matching, that just makes doing everything else on the map harder for a 5-minute break. This is a champion that they're very much reliant on when it comes to setting up fights, but now Aura, he pops with Shurelias, he knows he's in trouble, using everything he can to try and peel the Kayn away, and he successfully manages to escape. Sazam was aware of the danger of our members of 777 coming in, so he had to run away. Now Galio taking a lot of damage inside of that snowstorm. The wall was completely closing him off. Rack still wants to go for it though, but now the CC chain straight onto Judgy. He's going to use Counter-Strike to get away, but now it's Rack focused on by the entirety of 5 Minute Break. That magic damage shield is doing a lot, but it's still 777's frontline that's going to get burnt down. Tenshi completely left alone in the battlefield. And it's another one of those fights for 777 that they take in a position where FMB, they want to fight. They want to fight in these enclosed spaces. They don't really mind that. There was a period of separation there as well. 777, they allowed their frontline and backline to essentially separate. I mean, this is still a situation where 5 Minute Break will have to respond to the pushing side lanes over and over again. But with this shutdown as well onto the Jax, the Judgy Rocks just gives away in a pretty just careless manner, I would say. This gold lead is shrinking. The threats on FMB are coming online. They will even get this mid lane turret. Aura wants to go for this. Actually, the slow will land, and this could mean Christian Simeone gets caught here. But that flash gets him to safety. What happened here in that last sequence, I don't think it should stop 777 from doing what they were doing this whole time, but I feel like it should set some alarms in their heads. These alarms should be going off right now. Are we taking the right fights? Are we team fighting the way we want to? Are we checking all the boxes before we decide to take a fight? The way 777 was playing in these first 15 minutes of the game, that was the 777 we've all grown accustomed to, but after that, the slip-ups started happening, and FMB are back in the conversation to potentially take this game 1. But they still have to worry about Rack, though. He's just going to take this inhib, and as I was saying, the Ornn is just unable to respond to the Trundle when it comes to the push. It's not necessarily about the 1v1 champion-wise. Ornn just has trouble just clearing the waves in general. Even without this Baron buff. Rack is just trying to threaten the base, and that must mean FMB are being a little bit cautious, maybe a little bit hesitant about this whole affair, while 777 are just starting the Baron outright. Rack onto the turrets. Flash forced away from Aura. Cargilly wants to go for this engage. He manages to hit multiple people with a knockup. Tenshi hitting the Brand with his auto attacks. Still auto attacking, but it's a 4v2 right now, essentially, as Judgy Rocks was isolated from the fight pretty much that whole time. And now Kog'Maw left alone there, as Rack is still fighting in the base. He's not able to kill the Ornn. Trundle was taking turret shots that whole time. He overextends to try and find the kill, and FMB, once again, they hold on in the fight. They manage to find the engage. And now Baron is theirs. What a game to start this whole thing off. What a comeback from Sazam as well. This guy was 1-4 not too long ago, but now we're looking at a Kayn who is mighty fed. Spear of Shojin. The Ornn artifact coming in as well. This FMB team has scaled up. And it's becoming harder and harder for 777 to play the team fights. And Kog'Maw is not quite at a point where he can take over these fights, and it is harder for him to play as well when he doesn't have that dedicated support that just help him put out the raw DPS. Onto FMB. Galio trying to make a pick mid. They won't find much. 777 still looking, but to no avail. They do have the Trundle pushing on the top side of the map. FMB, they just have Ornn bot lane fixing that wave, but now he has to go back to top lane to respond to the side lane threat. And it's back to regularly scheduled programming. 777 threatening with a Trundle while also posturing for the objective, but they have to be careful. I mean, FMB have found the right engage numerous times. Rack onto the tower. He's barely taken any damage. Now he's just onto the inhibitor. He's just going to take that without Ornn being able to respond. Now the damage comes in. Ornn actually... Wow, is Rack going to be able to lifesteal off of the minions? He gets away with maybe like 100 HP there. He had to pop Ghost as well. While that was happening, FMB, they took another dragon for themselves, but their base is not looking so hot. They want to find that engage while 777 is still posturing. Now look at this. Tenshi, threatened by Martin Juicer King with his flash. Forcing a flash away. Look at what's happening top lane though. Rack is back at full HP. Kargili misses his dredge line. That could be the answer that 777 is finally looking for. FMB going too deep for just one more pick. Will it hurt them in the end? I mean, Sazim right there. He just disposed of Jax like it was nothing. Anivia creating so much space. Can FMB get away with their lives here? It's just going to be another kill for 777. They're moving forward fearlessly. They want to get even more. Lethal Tempo already activated for Kog'Maw. He's just moving closer and closer, DPSing the whole time. And this is 777 finally winning a fight. And will this be enough to take the base? There's still 25 seconds for Sazim to come back. There's 45 seconds for this Ornn. And I feel like that is the most important champion of all. Not having Ornn here means that FMB just don't have the tank that's creating space, and that means Tenshi can just run wild. It's FMB that's taking the first kill, but look at what Kog'Maw's doing. He just doesn't care about the enemy champions. All that 777 seems to care about are the turrets, but Trundle has walked too far forward. Tenshi's movement, though. He just barely evades the dredge line, but Sazim is still chasing Umbral Trespass just to make sure he gets that pick. And FMB, by the skin of their teeth, are staying in this game. They hold on to their base, but there's not much left of it at all. How much more they can take from Rack on the split push duty. And right here they managed to just keep that inhibitor alive as well. That is potentially crucial. They don't want 3 super minion waves coming in, because that's... I don't think that's something even Anivia can deal with on her own. I think that's pretty much impossible. I mean, as it is, FMB still have so many problems dealing with the side lane threat that 777 is posing. Now with so few structures left, there aren't many ways that FMB can go from here, but they might have just found the pick that turns the situation around. That's 40 seconds on the Vel'Koz. Now they can regroup, they will have a numbers advantage, they can respond to Trundle that much easier. 777, they still have the control around Baron though. That will be a point of worry for FMB. They have to worry about that first and foremost. Judging Rocks jumping in. they catch out the brand so easily, and Christian Simeone doesn't have flash either. He pops the Zhonya's, but FMB will not be able to help him in time, I'm afraid. Oh, but as I say that, Sazam coming in from a charge from topside. He's right in the thick of things. Can he keep going? He gets one kill on the Galio, but the Kog'Maw stays alive. And the combined DPS from the Troll King and the Void Puppy is going to seal the deal on this Game 1 of the series. 7-7-7. But will they have enough damage at the end of the day? Meanwhile, there's a wild Malphite in the mid lane coming out from Eris. I guess I was slightly concerned about their front line. Maybe this is enough to take care of that problem if he decides to go full tank, but I don't know what Eris is planning. Like, it could be all kinds of things. I never know. Yeah, 777's playstyle is not going to change much from here. They still have the double range bot lane. They still want the push. But the way this FMB bot lane is set up, plus, you know, the jungler combination.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
It's gonna have to be just maximum caution from 777 when they are not aware of the jungler's whereabouts. They just have to respect at all times. And that on its own could actually provide FMB with that extra bit of relief in the bot lane. Just a simple threat of the Rek'Sai being able to take so many different paths and come out into bot lane from so many different angles as well. I mean, I'm sure 777's bot lane is aware of what Rek'Sai can do, but can they account for every single potential opening that Sazam has on his first clear? Okay, so Christian Simeone will be able to get this push here. No questions asked. He has lethal tempo. He's going to be able to win these trades. That's all that's all he really cares about right now. And moving forward, he will have the sustain as well. Eris on this Malphite. Honestly, not that easy for him to trade back this early into the game. 777 securing that level 2. No surprises there. FMB definitely cannot be the ones fighting back for that level 2 priority. It's just not something they want to do. Sam already showing up bot lane after clearing his free camps. Does he want to flash onto Aura on fire? Christian Simeone showing up as well. Aura flashing too late. And also flashing in a straight line, which means FMB just get a pretty easy kill. And that is first blood for 5-minute break. Now that is something that we've grown accustomed to from FMB. They target the bot lane immediately. Even 4 people are sent towards that lane. And they get their reward very consistently. But honestly, that just felt like... It just felt like a timing that 777, they should have been aware of this. On so many occasions, we've seen Sazam go for this free camp opening into bot lane gank, but once again, they find a kill. One advantage of this new matchup for Fool is that it won't be as easy for Shyvana to just overpower him in trades early on. Shyvana does take a while to get going. And now Rack will be in trouble. Of course, Ghost forced already, but it's not going to matter one bit. Sazm gets another kill through his gank. Gonna let his top laner have that one. And finally, we may be looking at a situation where FMB can play the kind of game they want to play. Rack smart enough to stop the recall, but he goes way too deep to stop that. And Sazm still has his own flash, and that is Rack trying to get a lead in the lane, but he gets punished for it real fast. And maybe that is exactly what FMB needed. This early game pressure, the ability to slow down Rack, make him scale slower, create windows of opportunity for other players on his team. And yeah, finally, we're looking at an FMB team that is able to fight back. Obviously, nothing's decided yet, but this gold lead, this early into the game, is quite significant, I would say. Eris running out of mana as well. Okay, that's one positive for 777. With the constant priority that bot lane is providing, they had the opportunity to get the first Drake of the game, and they did so. Now, yeah, all that Rack has is a measly glowing moat and some boots. Now this is a lane state that Pool can just easily manipulate as he wants. Now Rack has level 6, and when he plays Shyvana, we see him use that ultimate pretty early to just force HP leads. But now Judgy Rocks, as he was taking the grubs, he didn't really think of the priority that FMB had. A nice buffer from Rack just to make sure he dodges all that CC, but now he goes back in. 777 though, they basically force 4 people onto this top lane fight, and they might just be able to catch Christian Simeone. They just needed one more Flame Breath to make it happen. Will not get any kills, however. It's a trade of Void Grubs right now. And she wants to move forward, but he has to be careful. Vigar has level 6. So I'm not sure if he wins in a direct engagement. Especially when he's running this lethality build as well. Now Ara's walking back bot as FMB is looking for another gank, this time towards mid. And Malphite has nowhere to go without his flash, without his unstoppable force, but that level up is going to save his life. He went from level 6 to level 7 as he was getting focused by FMB, and he does not die. That was an insane moment of luck from 777's mid laner there. And we keep moving forward. It's still an early game that FMB are very much in control of. But 777 are showing signs of... They're showing signs of fight. They're not afraid to take an engagement if they think it's it looks good for them. "777", they send a support down mid to maybe catch Yone unawares, but Rek'Sai is close by. And so is Nautilus. Potentially, Aura had to flash away from that one. And Sazim feels like this guy is constantly in the right spot to make sure that 777 are just unable to make these early game moves. She was looking for a gank there, but the ball is not going to hit the intended target. It's going to be Christian Simeone actually opting for Wit's End instead of just the straight up Blade of a Ruined King purchase. Although, those are still Blade of a Ruined King components, so maybe it is just Null Magic Mantle followed by Orc. We'll have to see. Wit's End does make him more durable and just prevents 777 from killing him in the mid lane. So that is his biggest concern. If he just wants to scale up without losing much, that is just fine. Nice buffer from Sazin there. I think he got caught by that stun. The tunnel's just in time to negate the effects. And now we're looking at a potentially bad situation for Christian Simeone, and he's going to have to snap back towards his initial position, but 777, they get caught by the cage, and Sazim comes in with a knock-up after that. But now 7-7 with re-engage of their own, and they just focus the targets in front. They kill the jungler very easily. A shutdown comes in for the brand. Event Horizon is going to zone out multiple members, but the artillery shots, the flame breath, and the arrow from Shyvana and Navarus, 777. They get 2 for the price of 1. And they get this dragon. Just a timely response from 777. They recognized it was the right fight to take. They pulled the trigger while the Ornn was not around just yet, and they get so much out of that. The FMB were really focused on trying to get that second dragon, but I guess they were ill-prepared for the kind of response that 777 had ready for them. Now Martin Juicer King, is he in trouble? No Chain of Corruption just yet, I think, for Tenshi, but it's still a 2v1. He's gonna get one, though, as Aura on Fire walks too close to the tiny Master of Evil, and he gets sent straight back to base. It's still a kill for Tenshi. He's gonna get that push as well. Maybe some extra plates on top of that. Ooh, a Chain of Corruption coming out. Martin Juicer King already at half health. Tenshi just doing everything in his power to keep this pressure constantly. Perhaps also making the jungler having to reconsider his pathing. Just trying to help FMB. Oh, Aura, I think he has to be a little bit careful while he's clearing that word. He's gonna get away with that. I thought he was just going to die there, straight up. Call of Forge God comes out from Fool. It's a bit of a 1v1 in the top lane. It feels like there's not enough damage left in the tank. Gonna be a stalemate for now. And after all is said and done, 777's bot lane, they actually forced their opponents to recall, and they will take the first tower of the game. Pretty important achievement for them. Now they can just feel free to rotate that bot lane towards the opposite lane or towards the mid lane. Just probably just more likely to happen. FNB straight onto Rift Herald, taking advantage of that mid priority. 777, they are aware, but they were not in position to respond. And we are already seeing that bot lane transitioning towards mid. Although it's still Aura roaming freely, as FMB are trying to make that pick happen in the mid lane, and they might just do so, but they miss the important cooldowns. And now 777 coming back with 2 teleports of their own. Unstoppable Force just straight up whiffs, and Tenshi will fall first. But FMB, have they overextended a little bit too much? The sleep lands onto 2, but it's still 2 kills for FMB. They win out on this fight. As is 40 seconds until Dragon. But how good do you really feel about this? You've killed some members of 777, but you're low. You can't really move straight onto Dragon. You have to recall after you took the fight. You've used many teleports, you've used many ultimates. It feels like we're kind of back to square one, and 777 should not lose much ground here. We can just send the Varus straight back towards mid. But one very important detail is that he's now without his summoners, and Cargilly is straight on the case here. The board comes out from Christian Simeone. Varus is slowed, but Yone does not want to keep going. It is important, however, that Tenshi is low on health, and Aura has no health left, as he just gets picked off by the FMB support. And it feels like 777 are just not exercising enough caution when it comes to how they go around things in mid lane. Just losing HP for no good reason. Losing lives. And a dragon fight that they could have gone for. Just, yeah, it just turns out that FMB were able to force their way in. Just by making sure that they attack Tenshi before the dragon spawns. And they make sure that he's unable to participate. But Christian Simeone is not done here. He buffers with his ultimate through the stun. Aura on fire! Left on slivers of health. In multiple situations where Christian Simeone should have gotten a kill, but he just doesn't. That Haunting guy's HP, that was the difference maker. Without that, Brand would be looking at a gray screen once again, but now Judgy Rocks may be looking at one, but the sleep comes out. That could just be enough to save him, but no, Sazum with a very nice Void Rush to keep the chase going. And with this Rek'Sai pick, FMB just looks so much different. not really letting 777 breathe in the mid game. They continue to push forward. He'll try to use the Rift Herald once again. That charge is going to finish. Just barely. And FMB got what they came for. It is a gold lead that they're looking at. It is a much more stable situation. They don't have to deal with a Trundle knocking at their doors. I mean, Trundle was already a problem at this stage, but now Rack is just completely outmatched in terms of damage by this Yone champion, piloted by Christian Simeone. Like, this Blade of a Ruined King on its own, making a difference. And it looks like it's going to be Wit's End next up. Going to make him even more tanky. Christian Simeone tries to go for a pick, but he whiffs with his ultimate, and now he's in a precarious situation as 777. They want to get that pick back. They're also chasing Cargillion on the other side of this fight. Dredgeline in the way, but is not going to save him there, as the rest of 7-7 are now on the case to try and get as many picks as they can. There's Vagar's down. Christian Simeone's still going, but eventually he's going to fall to the Lilia. But now Tenchi, too far up. He's going to be caught by the Rek'Sai, and she eventually gets that kill. But the Brand and the Shyvana, their combined DPS is taking a toll on FMB's front line, and it's 7-7-7 that just barely managed to win out on this fight. So much chaos, so many cooldowns invested into this. And it looks like 7-7-7 have potentially strong-armed their way back into this game. It all started with Christian Simeone just trying to make that pick happen, but it was all perhaps a little bit too much. And 7-7-7 were not hesitating at all when it comes to their response. Just they pull out all the teleports immediately, and they just opted for the fight. Sazam continuing to look for picks, but the Chain of Corruption comes out. Christian Simeone onto the backline, but he's getting peeled off by the Malphite Unstoppable Force to stop him completely. And now 7-7-7, Sazam using the Void Rush just to stay alive, but Rack is onto the Veigar, and 7-7-7 fighting on multiple fronts. They thrive in the chaos, and they will kill off one by one. FMB get lost in the sauce, and they lose another fight. This is going to be soul points for 7-7-7, and maybe more as well, as they're now pushing the mid lane turret. Christian Simeone is walking there, but he doesn't have his ultimate. He's unable to stop it. And once again, it's 7-7-7 clutching out these fights. It's their instincts kicking in, the individual prowess of some of the members on their team. But also, Eris on defensive duty, making sure that Varus is not killed in that fight. Everyone working in unison. Even though the fight looked very messy. But they just understand how to maneuver in these situations. And FMB, once again, when it finally looked promising, now their grip on this series is potentially slipping. Baron is up. 7-7-7, trying to take control. They have Rack on this side of the map as well. Once they choke out the vision, they will just force FMB to respond. And will they respond in time is the question. Christian Simeone is still clearing the wave in top. The TP from Ornn is coming out. And it feels like 777. That will force them to run away. But can they run away in time? Eris will take the brunt of the engage. But that's just him getting caught by Call of the Forge God. But now FMB is on the Baron. Can 777 stop him from doing this? They peel off the front line. Rand has killed the Nautilus. FMB still on the Baron. They will take it for themselves. Rack trying to kill someone on the back line there, but he cannot do it. Martin Juicer King doing so much work. Trying to kill one more guy, but he can't make it happen. What is the most important news of all is that FMB, they respond with that teleport. They push out 777. They take the big purple worm for themselves. And it feels like the call to escape the situation from 777, it all came out just a little bit too late. They had to scramble their way out of the Baron pit. FMB went in there and they just pulled the trigger on the Baron. They were decisive about it. And this adds so much more tension to this game. How can FMB utilize this Baron buff? They have Ornn with Jack Show. He upgraded Jack Show as well. He's mighty tanky. He should be able to withstand Shyvana in the push. Instead, it's going to be Ornn matching the Malphite. But I guess the important information here for 777 is not everyone on the opposing team has Baron buff. But now, Pool is a little bit isolated from the team. That forces the teleport from Christian Simeone. They want to save their top laner, but maybe they can get a pick as well as Judgy Rocks. He walks too far forward. It's a pretty good response from 777. They get multiple members down to half. They want to keep going here. Unstoppable Force still available. He is going straight onto Sazim. They want to get more than just one pick, and they might just be able to do that. Varus charges his Empowered Arrow. Sazim dangerously low. Another slow comes out, and Rack will get that kill. But FMB, while all of that is happening, they at least get the mid lane turret, they get the mid lane push going. Is that enough to force 777 away from the Dragon Pit? I fear that may not be enough because, I mean, just looking at the situation, Zygarde coming out from base, Nautilus has just respawned, 10 more seconds on the Rek'Sai. 777, despite not having mid lane priority initially, we're still able to walk in first. And FMB, now without Call of the Forge God, they have to be just coming in there and just hoping for a miracle, trying to make the steal happen. Rek'Sai's not in there yet. They're trying to force the fight. 4v5 without their jungler. Christian Simeone rushing straight onto Lilia. Rack onto the backline, but Sazim is there to peel, and they will catch Shyvana. 777 trying to help, but they charge in recklessly. They lose one member after another. It's a scramble that FMB are winning because 777 are not coordinating their efforts properly. They may have gotten the Dragon Soul, but they lose 4 in the process. And how much FMB can get on this push without Baron buff? 20 seconds. Do they have... No, they're still waiting for the wave, and that is probably what's going to decide how much they can get from this push. They had to wait like 10 extra seconds for the wave to even arrive. So all they can really get is push in mid, push in bot, and then just take the recalls and get back on the map first. Not much else they had going on, even after that one fight. But they do have important spikes coming in. Infinity Edge will soon be completed for Christian Simeone. Martin Juicer King on the Vigar already looking at what is 3 items plus Verdant Barrier. That is 1000 AP at 30 minutes. So a pretty damn strong Yordle. Wizard Yordle. Uh-oh. Christian Simeone. Way too far up in the side lane. Pretty bad spot for FMB to be in right now. That is not the pickoff that you want to give away 30 seconds before Baron. FMB they were doing so well. They played that last team fight expertly, but now once again they have to be able to withstand 777's pressure, as they will once again try to challenge Baron, but 777 diving in onto the Rek'Sai, who is deceptively tanky, and Call of a Forge God will be able to find 1 kill on that re-engage, but looks like 777, they're just forcing the issue somehow. They get 2 for 1 in a spot where it didn't look like it was going to go their way, but I guess Yone's still dead. That was a difference maker. FMB just didn't have enough damage. If this just goes back to the point I was making earlier, but now Judgy Rocks walking way too far up down mid. And Event Horizon, the easiest pick possible for FMB. It stalls out 777 in their attempts to go for Baron. Now, FMB clearing out vision. Next up, probably gonna have to reclaim mid lane control, and once they do that, they can finally start thinking about Baron. The Baron's not the only thing that they have to be thinking about, it's also the Elder Dragon coming up in 2 minutes. It's another objective that they will have to figure out how they want to approach that. And with a frontline like this and the Vigar Event Horizon as well, it shouldn't be that hard to create space and walk your way into the river. But 777, they are not just going to let them walk in. Feels like FMB will have to take the fight head on. And you also have to consider that Rack is finally at that point where he is starting to overpower Ornn in the side lane. And that is just another aspect of the map that is not exactly going FMB's way, even though they still have this gold lead. You look at the map and they're not exactly in the forward position. They're the ones turtling, they are the ones defending. The upgrades have come in for almost everyone on FMB's team. So that's just extra gold value for FMB. Yeah, this Ornn is not really... he can't really be moved by just one champion. It's gonna take more than that. Rack will be able to take the inhibitor tower, but will it cost him his life? He continues to charge forward. He flies back, tries to get his team to help him, but will that be enough? The 2 kills coming in from FMB actually. 777 trying to help, but it's just uncoordinated. It's sloppy. It's 777 losing more members than they needed to, and that gives an opening for FMB to just straight up take this Elder Dragon. No jungler, no top laner, no support. FMB, this is their ticket to win this game. All they have to do is make sure that there's no freak steal that comes out from the Varus. Oh, wow, he was almost allowed to do that. Literally as I was uttering the words, Varus appeared on my screen charging the arrow, and I held my breath, but it did not happen. FMB, now with Elder Dragon, will just move straight towards Baron. Do they have enough time to make this happen? Or do 777, 777, they are aware of what's happening. They will not just let FMB take this. I mean, even though FMB have Elder, it doesn't just give them a free ticket to do whatever they want. Now 777 may just go for a fight, but they have to be careful. It's FMB still with Elder Dragon buffs, and it could be FMB winning this fight as well. The front line already falling, the Malphite is down, but they will get 1 extra kill. 777 managed to get 2 out of this. Oh, the engage from Christian Simeone! He finds Brand on the angle that FMB was not expecting. Event Horizon catches out Judgy Rocks. The Lilia's too fast though, they just can't catch her! Oh my god, the WQ combo from Vigard just blows her up! Wow, and the teleport from Christian Simeone as well. FMB just not wasting any time. They want to get as much as they can, while 777 are scrambling to move back into the map. Elder Dragon, is it going to be enough to win the 1v1? No, it won't. But Rack 96 will be felled by the Vigar. He takes revenge. And what a sequence that we're having. FMB eventually come out on top of this one. Heroic efforts from Christian Simeone and Martin Juicer King finding that super important pick on the Lilia. Now, finally, maybe this is the Baron that they'll be able to take. Tenshi, I guess, wasn't aware of just how fast the Baron is running out, so he didn't attempt the steal. Sheesh. I mean, what a way for FMB to fight back. This is one hell of a game. We're finally seeing these two styles clash properly. FMB, after these adaptations and draft, come out rejuvenated. They may just be able to find another pick here. Judgy Rocks, have to be careful where you're walking. I mean, at this point, the late game potential on some of these champions is pretty much realized. It's 4 items on Yone, full build on the Vigar. Let me just have a quick look on how much AP he has before we get into any more action. Yeah, we're looking at a potentially 1500 AP Vigar, nothing to see here. No problem, guys. I'm sure he doesn't just blow up whoever he wants in one skill in one spell rotation. Oh, Cargill with a flash hook, but is it a little bit too much? No, it isn't. FMB very much ready to respond with more ultimate cooldowns. Now unstoppable force from Eris, but it's not going to be enough. The damage potential from FMB is just... Oh my goodness, hold on. Rack is continuing to put out the damage. He's actually saving 777 on his own, potentially. Tenshi also putting out the damage. Somehow we ended up in a situation where it's a 1v1 almost inside of 777's base. How in the world are we looking at a Nexus that is still up. For 777, I was convinced that was going to be an FMB win, but now Tenshi smelling blood in the water. He knows that Martin Juicer Gang doesn't have mana. He's just going to walk him down, but no! No, he miscalculated. He miscalculated. He was just looking at the bar on top of his avatar. Viger had enough mana to throw out one last Q. I mean, I was convinced that he didn't have mana. I guess, yeah. That's just a miscalculation from Tenshi. But still, 777 somehow are still in this. And they are going to force another fight at Elder. I mean, Rack's combined damage, just Brand's damage with his dying breath, Tenshi putting out the DPS. I mean, I'm just shocked at how much Shyvana was able to do to the backline. FMB, with their tried and tested maneuver, trying to get a pick in a pocket of vision that 777 don't have. But they sent Rack to just split push. They have the teleport from him. So they're going to just try and pressure. But it's FMB on the Elder. And they're going to start it first. And they're going to force the response from 777. Judgy Rocks just completely destroyed. But Rack onto the Elder Dragon. He cannot steal it though. It goes away of FMB. And surely that means game. That's 3 people down already. It's just the bot lane left. And FMB should not have any trouble disposing of them, or they can just move down with if they want to. The Flash is going to follow, the Brand is dead as well. And well, Varus, yep, he's not getting away from this one either. FMB, finally, they win the team fight. They break 777 after 40 minutes of gameplay. That was a game deserving of winners finals, and I am glad we're getting another one after this. This one could have picked this one R2, guys. There's like, did we really have to wait so long to see the Azir locked in anyway? Jack's opting for red smite item. Not sure just how popular that is. I don't think I'd be running that into the FMB team, but we'll see if it makes any difference. No no early movement, no early invade attempts from either side. Is just a fan out 5-point spread from both teams. And well, 777 tried to get some early priority inside of bot lane. Just to make sure that they can continue the push pretty much unopposed for at least the first few waves. FMB's bot lane is not leashing, so they will be able to show up early into this lane and get some kind of level 2 advantage. Yeah, they show up early. They will start pushing slightly. Okay, they're actually not putting a lot of damage on the wave. So maybe 777 will be able to get the push secured anyway. Yeah, it looks like 777 will get level 2. It's not going to be a problem for them. Some good damage coming out already from Christian Simeone. And Azir, with this fleet footwork setup, we know just how oppressive he can be. Just how hard it is to push him out of lane. It's just a mid laner without many weaknesses. And it's just slots in so well for FMB. Not surprising why Azir is a preferred champion of choice. Now, as is tradition, FMB's jungler is just he's going to end up bot side. But 777, they don't have perfect vision coverage. They have the Tribush warded. So right now, it looks like Sazam has another target in mind. He's just going straight towards mid. Event Horizon is a little bit suboptimal. It doesn't really catch anyone. And that forces out the flash from the Vigar really early into this game. It's a pretty big problem for Eris, 777's mid laner. It looks like it will be a teleport coming out as well. And on the other hand, it's 777's bot lane that managed to evade Sazam's gank. He was looking for a little bit, trying to find something, but didn't want to stay around for too long. We can see that these double ups are making a difference. Jujurox in a bit of trouble, must have used Leap Strike on the camps, because now he can't jump away. Now finally it comes off cooldown. Christian Simeone's here. Flash Flash W, sorry, coming out from Sazam. The Volcanic Rupture coming out from Ornn as well. FMB somehow, they don't get a kill. Judgy gets away with his life on a greedy invade. That also makes it a little bit awkward for Rack. He did lose some health here. It does mean it is harder for him to pressure Fool right now. It looks like he's just going to get his first recall off right here. Or, no, he's not standing in the right spot. Rack is just going to interrupt him once here. Will Fool just choose to teleport back into lane? Or will he stay around for a little bit? And he has to be careful here. Rack is going to hit 6 very soon. Maybe even on this next minion timing. Rack playing it slow. Trying to see if Fool catches with bait here. He doesn't have a lot of mana to fight back with. Rack hits level 6 potentially on these next few minions. So you don't want to go for any kind of engagement. Yep, there's the level 6. Fool recognizes the threat and he backs off. Oh, Aura is really... He really wants that ward cleared out, and he does have support from his jungler, so we'll be able to do that without much of an issue. We're seeing a similar picture to game 1, where top lane and bot lane are getting pushed in constantly. And that was one piece of the puzzle that 777 was missing last time around. This time they get the important matchups that they were looking for. But they will still have to outperform FMB in these early fights before the scaling truly kicks in, and before 777 finds themselves outmatched. by all the tankiness and all the damage and all the shielding from the Seraphine on top of that. Bull fighting in the wave. Not afraid of the Renekton's threat here. He's still a level up for a bit. Prevents Rack from freezing. I mean, in Ornn's book, you can be 20 CS up, but if you're not dying, it's pretty much like you're winning lane. Both junglers opting towards farming quite heavily, but we might finally be seeing some moves from Tazan very soon. Although 777, it looks like they have plenty of vision to spot out where he's going. There's no real opening that can be found for now. Rack, he just doesn't care. He knows where a jungler is, he will just go to proxy. Oh, the ult's coming out from 5-minute break as they finally have figured out that this is the potential opening they can go for. Sazin coming in from the lane, he might just get what he's coming for. Flash. Just to secure that kill, but he's going to give away the kill in return. It's a 1-for-1. Martin Juicer King also dangerously low. Air is coming in with a roam from mid. Judgy is going to flash in, but it's not going to be enough to secure it because double up was not there to reach the intended target. The Unleashed teleport has just activated for Azir, so there was no opportunity to make a play in response from FMB. So just pretty good timing on that play from 777. Just to respond to what FMB were doing and then push them in a little bit more without really being punished for it. And this collector is going to hurt quite a bit this early into the game. Tenchi will have to be quite patient when it comes to the timing on this ultimate, unless they can find like a combo with the Strangle Thorns from the Zyra or the Event Horizon. If he can't get that, then he's gonna have to work so much harder to try and get things going, but as I'm saying all of that, FMB just punish Zyra really hard, but it looks like it was a disconnect, it was an internet issue. But yeah, given where he was standing in the lane, I feel like this would have happened anyway. I feel like you can't really make that excuse in this case.
A summoner has reconnected.
22 seconds until this dragon. Is this enough for FMB to secure it? As it stands, they have mid lane push. They will have bot lane push, most likely, as well. Encore will probably come up by the time the dragon spawns, too, so... they are pretty much... yeah, they are well equipped to take this one. And I don't think 777 will try to... try and fight back against this. Yeah, just a temporary freeze. Although I was worried for a second. Yeah, it should be a totally uncontested dragon from FMB. But yeah, it looks like there's no threat in the top side. For a second, I was kind of looking at that area of the map and I was wondering about a potential dive, but I guess... yeah. Ornn has already stacked up the armor. Oh my goodness. Martin Juicer King really dangerously close to dying. He doesn't have flash. Aura will just finish him off right here. And Judgy also trapped in the cage. Sorry, Christian trapped in the cage. Almost dies to the Primordial Burst. And just like that, 777 have finally cashed in on their bot lane lead. Pushed in so many waves, they finally find a window to punish the Seraphine. This is a big, big lead down in bot. 40 CS up. Multiple plays taken. Wonder what the second item is going to be here. Is it going to be Edge of Night, or is it going to be just a straight up opportunity for more burst? And for now, while the plates are still up, we are going to see nice movement from Fool, just pushing the wave away from a tower so Rack cannot take the plate. Just some cheeky movement. Now Sazim is here. If he lands the stun, they can go in. And Rack goes for the re-engage onto the Viego, and there's so much burst involved that Viego is pushed away, and now Judgy Rocks is back in the mix, and FMB are forced away. Rack not going for lethality, actually. He's just running Ravenous Hydra. So once again, it's a similar kind of playstyle to the Trundle. He is just focused on out-sustaining, winning the battle of attrition versus the Ornn. Not really focused on the solo kills all that much. I mean, he's still here, but he doesn't have his ultimate anymore. I feel like this is 777 taking one step too far. Although Judgy Rocks is taking the 1v1 versus Sazim, and he's just going to win it! Will his cooldowns come back up to try and kill the Azir? No, he cannot do it in the end. But look at how much pressure that generated. And look how much 777 are able to do on the other side of the map. Just... Seraphine just straight up flashing away from danger. Once again, 777 are playing so well when it comes to just supporting their winning lanes. Judgy's, you know, he might be down in CS, but he's been in the right places here, making sure that the winning lanes don't get punished by the side of FMB. What is the next item going to be for Rack? Is it just going to be Sterax? Or team fighting? Does he want to just focus entirely on side lane, and that maybe means like a black cleaver? Something. Sundered Sky? Sundered Sky could fulfill both. uh, both things at the same time. Either way, he's certainly not gonna be low on health.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And slowly, but carefully, he is once again in the driver's seat in that top lane matchup. Exactly where he wants to be. Exactly where 777 want to be as a team. Eris showing up to the objective early, but he has to be careful not to get caught by FMB's jungler. He's just going to go for the 1v1. The ultimate comes out real early from 777's mid laner, and he gets punished. It's a 1-for-1 trade right now, but Rack is doing a lot of work. However, he doesn't have enough damage to kill anyone, and FMB have just straight up played this team fight better. The Vygar completely just isolated from his team, walking from the opposite angle. 777 trying to save the situation. They get caught in that CC chain and they lose the team fight. Those are some really important kills for Sazam. You know just how dangerous he can be when he has the kills on the Viego. Seraphine also coming back into the game. Looks like she will just be providing the utility more than anything. Maybe it's Rylai's, maybe it's Leandri's Torment. Could be that as well. At the end of the day, it's still a minor setback for 777. This doesn't really change the landscape of the game at the moment. It's still a very bad misfortune. Well, maybe not very bad, but she is looking fine in the bot lane. So yeah, this doesn't really change how 777 want to play it out. Now they're just trying to choke out FMB, trying to prevent them from even approaching this side of the map. And they want to be playing this one relatively slow. They don't want to just let FMB have the engage down mid. But now maybe Christian Simeone will be the one falling next, but really good Emperor's Divide to try and buy himself some time, but the Vygar combo just could not be missed at this angle. Event Horizon comes out to zone some of the members of FMB, but Viego came in from the exact opposite angle, the angle that the cage did not cover. And Sazam just once again cleans up. And he could clean up even more kills here. The Vygar's still in danger. Wants to continue pressuring. Rack does not have teleport, and Viego just goes for it. He doesn't care. Tenchi gets a kill back, but Martin Juicer King will find the next kill. And this is overall a pretty big win for FMB. It has to be said. 777 tried to make a pick. The FMB responding super quickly to the threat. Yeah, it is going to be Raleigh's Crystal Scepter, so I'm not really focused on raw damage whatsoever. This is just Martin Juicer King focused on providing as much utility as humanly possible. Now he has Oblivion Orb, so that is, I guess, healing taken care of, but what kind of healing are we talking about? Who is really the big healing threat that FMB are afraid of? 'Cause I can't really think of one. I mean, if your argument is Ravenous Hydrorectin, that I don't know what to say. But Cargilly, he was pretty close to dying there. Does not burn his flash. But it's Tenchi that does burn his flash. Just misfortune letting it rip right there, but doesn't really find the intended target, honestly. Rack on the back line of his fight, just going for it. Flash EE, then walks away. Just, I guess FMB is slightly confused. Now they re-engage. They find Tenchi immediately. He was not in the right position. It's a 1-for-1 for now, though. Regirox continues to come in, but it's 777 that will lose this fight. They walk too close to the sun. And the Emperor, with his Sun Disc, will just find one kill after another, although Rack was trying his hardest to make something happen. But with this build, he just doesn't have the burst he usually does. And Eris will probably be the next one to fall. Though a nice blast cone? Okay, he's not getting away. But Ornn was still on the chase. And FMB, they weathered the storm, and they are playing these fights better. It has to be said. When push comes to shove, when the pressure is on, when it's time to fight, FMB are just executing better than their opponents. It's not over yet, but the scales are starting to tip in FMB's favor. I mean, the scaling component is already here. Diego with 2 items and change. His ornament already completed. Seraphine, level 13, close to that. Once she hits that, that's basically her W ability fully scaled up and able to provide so much in a fight. Azir on 2 items. Yeah, it's already getting quite ugly for 777. Not a lot of room to breathe from here. They bet it all on the laning phase, but they don't seem to be able to capitalize on what they were able to achieve. Now Rack, can he actually handle Azir in the side lane is the question, or will he just get pushed away? Not a lot of MR on him right now. It's just the Merc Treads and nothing else. At least for now, 777 are maintaining that push in mid, which does give them that extra breathing room. They don't have to worry about Baron right now. But I guess in the back of their minds, it must be just this feeling that the game is slipping away and they're trying to find something on the map. Just Jax hitting away at full with everything he has, but he is way too far forward compared to the rest of his team. 777, they knew something was up, and they just backed off. It's Christian Simeone also on the other side of his fight, making sure that 777 cannot intervene. And that is a crucial pick for a 5-minute break, as we are now looking at Baron. Oh, Veigar could be in trouble. FMB still chasing. He's running away with his tiny legs, but he cannot get away from the combined power of 5-minute break. This will be Baron. I'm quite convinced it's Baron, although maybe 777 they have other ideas. Can they stop this in time? The encore from Martin Juicer King! It buys just enough time. And there is no recourse. There is no way for 777 to stop what 5-minute break were able to do here. It's super well executed on all fronts. But it's mostly just 777 just losing grasp of the situation. It doesn't feel like there's a lot that can be done from 777's perspective. They still have the strong Renekton, but versus a team like this, how much can they really do in a team fight? It's just a sad state of affairs. And FMB's grip on this game and the series is slowly tightening. 20 seconds until this dragon. They're already setting up downriver. Sazm looking for a pick, but 777 playing it cautious, playing it safe for now. The Baron buffed minion waves are still coming in, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver right now for 777. They have to respect the fact that mid lane waves are coming in. They're trying to come in from the other side, but 777 have already started the Baron. Sorry, the Dragon. Rack coming in. He's just trying to body block, trying to buy as much time as possible. Bullet time, not the best. Doesn't really hit the intended targets. Rack diving the backline, but he's all alone. He does not have the damage to do anything. And 5-minute break will just kill one member by one. Aura on Fire wasn't even really a big participant of that fight. He was on the sidelines just looking at everything that was happening. Veigar will get away with his teleport, but it's not going to matter in the end because Fool has enough damage to kill him as well. The teleport will lead to his doom anyway. And 5-minute break. This is their revenge. This is their moment of celebration that is soon to take place. All they have to do is just put the finishing touches on this game. I don't think they can finish at this current moment on this push, but it feels like they are just inevitably moving towards the end of this series. 777, they're chasing, but it's not going to amount to anything. It's just Judgy with his leap strike. What can he possibly do in this situation? Is just a Jax with 2 items. And 777. They gave us a good series. It has to be said. At points, it looked like they could have even won the second game. But now, finally, we're seeing a 5-minute break that is ready to put the final stamp on this series. Christian Simeone, once again in a 1v1 situation versus Rack, he's just going to be able to kite away. He doesn't even have to put down the tower. Emperor's Divide just to deny his dash completely, and the soldiers just keep piercing his abdomen. Now he's trying to come in. and trying to burst down the Azir, but Martin Juicer King, he was ready to intercept that. There will be no solo kill on the Emperor of Shurima today. And Judgy Rocks caught just trying to clear vision. But once again, 777, they cannot possibly help him. They will just have to leave him for dead. But even then, this erratic movement is just going to lead in more deaths for 777. This is just... feels like a lost cause. 3 people down. Does FMB have enough in the tank to try and finish this one off? The mid lane wave is not quite there yet. There's one solitary minion. And they can't do it just yet. They will need more than that. They will probably just have to prepare for Baron, take that one, and then just end the game after taking that objective. We're slowly heading towards the conclusion. That is the general feeling that I am getting. 777 have tried plenty of things, but they are running out of options. Rack is still in the side lane, but even with his teleport, I don't think he can stop this Baron if he decides to come in. 777, they know this is happening, but they cannot do anything about this. Although, I guess they will try. They want to go for this fight. Rack comes in with a teleport, but once again, the DPS is really, really big from FMB. And now, Rack, sorry, Sazim with the possession. He's possessing Rack right now. And now he's possessing the Jax. And now he's just ending this game along with Christian Simeone. Rest of the team already onto the Nexus turrets. This is the end of this best of 3. 5-minute break have vanquished 777. Finally, after 2 disappointing games in the regular season, they get what they came here for. And they secure the first spot in the grand finals of UNL Season 10.